Hello, welcome back to Cards to Yards, a sports card and sports podcast. I'm back with Lou.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Nothing much.
You and I have fun chatting about cardboard.
Oh, we do. It definitely.
And sports.
It gets me off the floor. And
Sure.
also, it allows me to brainstorm with you. You know, pick
Yeah.
somebody else's mind. That's what it's about, man.
Absolutely. Who do you think what minds do you think the Phillies coaching staff is picking right now? Think they're going to dig deep into some sort of strategy or just hope that Verlander tanks out again?
One thing I say is never change. I mean, don't change up your strategy if it's working. I mean, it worked in game 1. It worked in game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's tied 2-2 right now. I think they still go with what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, look, nobody thought that the Astros were going to get stomped 7-0 in game 3, right? Nobody would ever thought that. And just like last night, nobody would have ever thought that they would get shut out like that with a combined no-hitter. I think the only thing
no one but the Yankees, who Christian Javier did it to before this year. So.
Nobody would have ever thought that coming, right? So this goes to show that any night, anything is possible. So for me to the Phillies, don't change nothing.
Okay.
Hey, take that one on the chin, and let's move on and worry about game 4. Same with the Astros.
Game 5.
Oh, game 5. You're right. Game 5.
But I would say that someone on sports radio here did point out the sad fact that if it keeps teeter-tottering like every other, then Houston's going to run out and Philly's going to win in 7. Like if they keep winning every other, I don't know.
I called it before the series started. I said, Astros in 6. They win tonight. They bring it back home, and Houston turns into a big party site on game 6.
And for everyone out there, this series has moved so fast that the last time we talked, it hadn't started yet.
Hadn't even started. It was game 1 that night.
Yes. And the Astros looked like they were in command. Game 1, Verlander goes out. They put up 5 runs in the first 3 innings. Yeah. Verlander looked fantastic, and then just the worst game. He's not good. He's not even. It's not even not great. He's not good in the World Series. He's 0-6 now.
Yes.
So and then the grit of the Phillies to not only come back down 5-0, but they took it into extras and won on the road. The fact that they turned it around, they being the Astros, with Fromber on the mound the next day and won. Again, with the 5-run lead, it looked like they might choke it away, but they didn't. And then you go to like an insanely raucous Philly stadium, so raucous that legendary Houstonian mattress Mac had to cuss everyone out. I mean, like that is the wildest video that's come out in a while. And like one of the local stations was interviewing him, and he goes, "Well, people warned me that the Phillies fans were bad, but I had no idea.
No, they're bad.
Like
they're bad.
I didn't know they were that bad. I mean." Look, they're known for chucking batteries at people, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's a pretty bad tell. That's the tell of a bad fan, I think, if you're chucking batteries at people. But, I mean, maybe you're just concerned with I know I get super annoyed when my remote control runs out of batteries, so maybe it's just like that Philadelphia spirit of giving where they never want anyone to run out of batteries.
Yeah.
Either that or it's just a raucous fan base. I don't know.
And I said this before this even started, before the series started as well, too. This is the most lopsided World Series ever. So it's going to have that seesaw effect, but it's all going to be about who blinks first. That's what it's going to be about. And tonight could be that blink, that Phillies blink first, and Houston snags another one. I see it coming. I mean, Verlander is such a great veteran. I mean, yes, his record in the World Series does not help.
Right.
But I think he's old enough and he has the experience enough to know that, hey, look, this is the game, the pivotal game 5 that I need to be on my, So I think he's going to come out. He's going to come out strong. Houston's going to win this game. Not a nail biter though, and it's going to come back. I think that shutout right there last night really took everything out of Philly right there.
Well, we ended the season with Philly and Verlander starting. They almost got a combined no-hitter that was blown in the ninth.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and not only that, I wasn't just taking a dig at the Yankees. But also remember that Christian Javier started the game where we combined no-hit the Yankees earlier this year.
Yeah.
And
then off for Presley.
He is the only not only just one season has he done this, he is the only player ever to have 6 innings start in combined no-hitters. Like 2.
That's
so
great.
He's got 2.
Well, we know where we're spending our money at next year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Let's try not to put McCullers back on the mound, though.
Right. Well, and then this was only the 3rd no-hitter in playoff history, and 2nd, and as a Yankees fan, I'm sure you know who had the 1st, right?
I'm not a Yankees fan.
I thought you were a Yankees fan.
I'm from Jersey, but I'm not a Yankees fan. I'm a Braves fan.
All right. Well, and also, I don't know if you know baseball that happened before 1993, but
1968 was the last one actually done in the World Series. I forgot who it was by. It was
so close. 1956, but I'll give you all the credit for
68,
that.
dang.
It was Don Larson, and it was a perfect game.
Wow.
Now, do you know who had the only other no-hitter?
No.
That was in 2010. That was, guess where, at Philadelphia, Roy Halladay on the mound. Guess who the opposing coach was of the Reds at the time? Dusty Baker. So you've seen that from both sides. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Man, I wish we still had Halladay here.
But so,
peace to him.
Yeah. First combined no-hitter in the playoffs by the Astros. So that's something, man.
Let's just hope they win tonight.
Sure.
And we just bring it back home. But
look, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, like, there's a lot of history in this World Series already, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies the Astros were on the wrong side of history in Game 3, specifically Lance McCullers. And you talk about not blinking, it's like, I just don't know if they made the right decision just to leave him in there, because the dude gave up, 5 home runs? 7 runs total?
I think Dusty thought that he could pull through, just like last night with their relief pitcher when they pulled out Nola. Putting them in a tight spot like that, 0 outs, bases juice with Alvarez on the plate. I mean, that's a tight spot. I mean, thought he could pull through it. I mean, the guy is one of the hardest relief pitchers to hit.
Yes.
Throwing cutters at 98 miles per hour, right?
Absolutely.
So, same with McCullers, you try to just let them kind of walk through it and get through that phase, but it ended up costing them last night 5 runs, just like it ended up costing McCullers 5 runs.
Question for you, completely hypothetical, because we won't be able to answer this. But Jordan goes up with the bases loaded. He's still in a big slump. If he doesn't get hit in the backside with the first pitch, do the Astros score 5 runs that inning? Do they score at all?
I think they at least score 3.
I was just in fear that he was going to hit into a double play or something.
Even if he didn't hit a double play, I mean, depending on where the double play was located at, it would force them to either. I mean, if it was a slow roller or anything like that, they would definitely go home the first. But if it's like a nice solid hit, they would have to run 2-1. So I mean, that would still score a guy from first, 2 outs, and then the next couple batters, they all got base hits. Bregman shot double to the right, so that was bringing another one.
That was a great hit, by the way.
Yeah, that was. I mean, so I would at least seen 3.
And at the end of the game, I will say, if we're looking for something to look forward to in games 5, 6, and potentially 7, Jordan was actually getting under the ball by the end of the game. He took a couple to the warning track.
Oh,
I mean, there were still outs, but at least if someone is in scoring position or on third, it's going to get them home.
Yeah.
Before, the Astros were in this miserable struggle of, I can't remember how many at-bats it was in a row without scoring with runners in scoring position. They were just stranding everybody. But tonight's going to be Verlander in Game 5. And you know how fickle fans are, but it was pretty hilarious because before the game here in Houston on sports radio, they were just reaming Dusty Baker for, I can't believe you're not going to start Verlander tonight. We need it. And then Javier throws a freaking no-hitter. It's ridiculous.
Ace.
And now, if you need him, he's a young guy, right?
If you need him
Saturday night.
Yeah, you can run him in 6.
Yeah, Saturday night. And the thing is, here's where we know the Astros are better than the Phillies, with just a fact, pitching. And I'm talking about, all the way down the roster. So you still have Luis Garcia at your disposal. You still have Urquidy. I mean, you have so many players that could go out there and get 3, 4, or 5.
Who's the other?
Just no-hit innings.
Who pitched Game 2 for Astros? What's his
name? Framber Valdez.
Was it Framber? Yeah, Valdez.
Yeah.
I say run. I mean, look.
6. I say Game 6 for him and win it
Valdez.
all.
Game 6 Valdez, and then you're going. You kind of, if you have the chance to go ahead and stop it there, you get up 3 games or 2. let Valdez go ahead and pitch, and then if you got your foot on their jugular and you're getting ready to squeeze, as a relief, you can bring in one of your starters.
Right.
But if it doesn't work out well, you done kind of doomed yourself for Game 7. You know, like, so typically I save something like that for Game 7, but if you got a chance to go ahead and just, like, put it to the coffin.
Right. And when I say this, remember we're talking about baseball, which is 162 games, and most starting pitchers get 30-something starts, right?
Yeah.
Framber had one bad game all year. He broke the record with 25 quality starts, which is 3 runs or less in 6 innings or more. I feel so confident with Framber.
So do I.
If you win tonight, he's your pitcher for Game 6 and you win it. And if not, you just patchwork it together. And who knows what can. And the playoffs are nuts.
Game 7, if it comes down to it, you start Javier.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Start Javier, and you have a good bullpen.
You have Garcia backing him up if it goes sideways.
Yep.
And don't forget Urquidy. I think Urquidy could come in and maybe get the save tonight because the bullpen's a little bit tired.
Yeah,
mostly because Philadelphia has decided against the betterment of society to not get a roof. They lost their rest and travel day. So, I mean, really anything that happens is on them and the fact that the land of cream cheese won't spring for a roof. So, I mean, like, I don't understand. Like, I'll never understand that. I'll never understand that. But
at least they're not complaining about the roof.
Yeah. I don't get it. I have no idea. It must be eating people alive, though, to see the Astros doing this again. Like, even contending. And back to the Mattress Mac attack thing, where he just cussed out that dude. And then, there's tons of funny memes now about it and stuff. You know what he did this morning?
What's that?
He basically put it out on social media. He's got a manager that works for him that used to be an ex-football player. Mattress Mac has a luxury suite at Reliant. Of course he does. He gave out this guy's phone number, and he said, if you're a Phillies fan living in Houston, I've got 18 suite tickets. I'm going to give out 9 pairs of 2 tickets each. I want you to leave this dude a voicemail, and we're going to vet it, and we're going to take the most heartwarming, true Philly fan story, and we're going to treat you to a game. And, man, it's going to be a treat for the Eagles because they're playing the Texans. So,
yeah, right.
Wouldn't it be just bonkers if Houston goes 2-0 against Philadelphia tonight? That would be insane. It's not going to happen, but
no, Texans need a miracle.
But hey, if it's 1-1, I guarantee it's the Astros
Texans
that
need
won.
a miracle.
They do, yeah.
Texans are getting blown out tonight.
But class act by Mattress Mac. And also the day he got cussed out, he was donating like 100-something mattresses to firehouses in Philly and the homeless shelters.
And to veterans and first responders.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep, that was awesome. Good on him. He's definitely, doing good.
And also, if I had a $75 million possible wager win on the line, I'd be heated too.
Yeah, of course.
You're gonna be a little fired up. But the main thing was they were trashing, no pun intended, but the Altuve. So you can't do that.
But Altuve's been trash, man. The whole
okay,
no,
but I'm talking about like cheaters. It's like it's been 5 freaking years. We're still not mad at Philadelphia for the crack in the Liberty Bell, right? And we let it go. Just let it go. Let the trash can bang and go.
Look at Pete Rose. You still haven't let that go.
Baseball. They're not going to let that go.
Exactly.
They are not going to let that go.
They're going to use whatever they can get to get under your skin, whether it's true or not. So that's just the way people are.
I guess since it's political season for equal time, we'll talk about the Rockets. They're bad. They're 1-8. They had 2 games in a row where they should have won. From my layman perspective, it was against the Clippers.
I'm gonna blame it on young team. They're a young team.
Oh, they're young. Yeah,
they need to learn how to gel together. They need to learn how to work together.
Of
like
course.
The seasoned teams.
Sure.
And that's going to come with growing pains, such as going 1-8. So, is it expected?
There's one veteran on the team.
It's not really expected, but it's happening because of the maturity level that's on that team.
Yeah. But we should not have half as many wins as the Lakers, who are 2-5.
Lakers should not be 2-5.
But we're 1-8, which is worse than the Western Conference. And there's a team in the East that's like 1-7. But we're pretty bad, bad. But fun to watch. Jabari Smith Jr.
Basketball
is fun. Jalen Green's fun.
Interesting. A lot of teams that you probably would have wrote off are actually doing really well. A lot of teams that you thought were championship teams are hitting a little bit of a slump early. But it's good to get that slump out early right now before, when those games really, really matter, in the second part of the season and towards, that last month or 3 weeks.
And the teams who you thought would be soap operas are soap operas because, like, the Lakers and Nets, that's like All My Children and General Hospital of the NBA, right? Man, like soap opera, daily. The Nets thing is, we'll talk about this real quick, but the Nets thing is completely wild because, as you probably know, the Boston Celtics coach who got them to the finals, right? Ime Udoka, he was suspended an entire year. Now, this is not by the league. This was by the Celtics, for off-court behavior or whatever you want to call it. The Brooklyn Nets fired Steve Nash after he called out the team and said they don't have heart or focus or whatever. After he was dealing with the whole Kyrie Irving thing, which you could pick like 5 different things in the last month or whatever, but and they basically just stole the Celtics coach. Now, granted, I don't know. I feel like it was a sneaky play, but all is fair in love and sports, right? So.
It is. I mean, that's just what happens. I mean, you let your guard down, somebody's going to come down because at the end of the day, they're not worried about your feelings. They're worried about winning championships and winning games.
But it's like, but it's pretty crazy. And the fact that, like, I think it's going to be like the Lakers, where like any coach that goes in there, they're going to be thrown under the bus.
Yeah, I mean,
until it gets turned around.
Steve Nash even said, "Look, they're not even responding to me. They're not listening to me."
Yeah,
I mean, that's what happens when you get a team and like that of that type of caliber.
He has since said it was mutual. I don't know if I believe it.
He's saying that to kind of just save the whole thing of more questions and all that stuff.
And then the Lakers, wow. If you watch the press conferences and they keep trying to bait LeBron into talking about Russell Westbrook and he doesn't want to talk about Russell Westbrook, they have a better chance to me to turn it around. I think the Nets have more talent, but there's a lot of stuff going on with the Nets right now. Just they're going to be transitioning to a new coach. They're always just they got a chip on their shoulder, right? You have the whole like, is Ben Simmons ever going to be Ben Simmons again?
Man, lives in my mind rent free of him airballing a layup.
Yeah, yeah, but
oh man!
But before we turn to football, let's take a look at something positive, and this is definitely some dude that people love to collect his cardboard. That's Luka Doncic. He's the first player since Wilt Chamberlain, the first 7 games of his team's season to score 30 plus. So,
well, he is the heart and soul of that team.
Well,
so,
sure.
Like, that's a perfect Marshawn Lynch type deal. They're putting your team on your back type.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's exactly what he's doing. He's being a leader. He's contributing, but also putting down his points. He's leading the team in all categories, probably except for rebound. But I'm pretty sure he's close there.
Probably.
I haven't checked that out.
Probably.
But he's doing exactly what he's being paid to do. He's doing exactly what a teammate and a leader is supposed to be doing. So, hey, shout out to Luka for doing really well and keeping them in a spot where they can compete all year.
And FYI, Dennis Rodman was the heart of a few teams that he was on, and he scored like 2 points a game.
Yeah, so but see, he got 90 rebounds a game, though.
He did.
Nobody got in his house.
But to score 30 the first 7 games of the season is pretty awesome. We know who player of the month's going to be. Put it that way.
Definitely.
Like, we know that.
Definitely, and that's why his cards are still great.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit, or I might have mentioned or taken a shot at the Texans or whatever, but they also only have 1 win. They're playing the Eagles, right? That's not going to be pretty. But what else is not pretty is that trade deadline comes and goes. Yep. Brandon Cooks was like, well, he like put some cryptic tweet about trust and he's done and all this stuff.
Done. You be playing my career.
But they tried to trade him to the Cowboys, which would have been a good fit. I'm not a Cowboys fan. It would have been a good fit, but they didn't want to pay that ridiculous $18 million salary. Yep. So, the players, sometimes you do that to yourself. Like, if you wanted to go to a contender, maybe you need to make a lighter contract. But then again, that's neither here nor there because he signed it happened. But now I'm wondering if there's going to be more to that story because he's missed practice the last 2 games.
He's not even playing tonight.
No. Because
if you have him on your fantasy, pull him off.
Yeah, because he missed practice Tuesday and Wednesday. So, But that's going to be interesting. So that's a trade that didn't happen. There's a few that did. I can't remember when this happened. This probably did happen since we last spoke. But Christian McCaffrey was traded to the 49ers.
Huge move.
So that was probably the biggest pickup. But as far as on the deadline day, I would say that the Pro Bowl tight end T.J. Hawkinson going to Vikings, that's pretty big.
This is the part I don't get. This is why the Lions are the Lions. Why would you trade a superstar 26-year-old tight end to a divisional opponent? Get him the hell out of the division so you don't have to see him every 2 years. Now, he's going to have a great quarterback, which Cousins is a good quarterback.
Yes, he is.
He is a very underrated
You give a guy like that more weapons, and he's going to be better.
Now
right?
he's about to really show you and unlock the potential that Hawkinson brings to that team as a tight end.
Yeah.
So, buy Irv Smith as a back. They could probably run a double tight end set if they want to and put Irv on one side, Hawkinson on the other, just like the Patriots did to make that really dangerous with Hernandez and Gronk. They could run something like that. Now you just gave them the keys to the NFC North.
Sure.
I mean, because we know Aaron Rodgers and them are not competing. They don't even have nobody to pass the ball to.
Well,
the Lions are the Lions. They have a great offense. They just have a really bad defense. And the Bears? The Bears are in rebuild. I mean, they did get Chase Claypool.
They did
for a second-round pick.
Yeah,
but he comes with a little bit of baggage as well.
Sure.
He's very immature. So I mean, that's something they got to deal with.
Well, maybe a young team that can grow together. But the thing with the Lions is a little bit baffling. Although, usually you're not. You'd have to be a really good team to be like a tight end away from anything, right? So maybe they were just like, we're like years away, and this dude's at his peak. Let's just get what we can for him now because we don't want to turn around and have to pay him like Travis Kelce money or something. I mean, that's the only.
Or probably they see something in the draft coming up where they're like, you know what? Let's just get as many picks as we can. We're going to rebuild that way.
Yeah.
Instead of rebuilding through free agency, let's rebuild through the draft, get some young guys because they do have a very, very young defense.
Yeah.
They have a couple young cats on offense, but their defense, I think, is at a average of like 24 years old. And if they can keep a young core like that together, then that the future looks bright for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is very rare to have like these giant, superstar trades like the McCaffrey thing. So that kind of overshadows. But there's going to be some of these players that end up playing in the playoffs, and we're going to look back and go, that was a really good trade. But the Texans won't be one of them, so we don't have to worry about that. And sorry, but your pick,
it's not going so well.
The Lions are just.
I said that yesterday as well too.
I mean, they're your sleeper pick, so you could argue that you were going to pick the team that was going to sleep the most.
Imagine waking up. Imagine going to sleep being 2-3-1, and waking up to 6-1.
Oh yeah, like in a trade, sure.
Yeah, Nyheim Hines.
Absolutely.
Nyheim Hines, running back.
Yeah.
As a Colt, had a good game on Sunday, and then next thing you know, you're with the Bills with Allen and a super team.
It happened.
Super Bowl favorites. Waking up. I mean, that adds some depth back there, but they did get rid of Zach Moss. And Zach Moss went over to the Colts, I think. So
it happens, man. This is not as good an example because the Orioles actually had a fantastic year, but Mancini coming over to the Astros, that's gonna kind of feel like that. I wish he would pay us back by getting a hit or two, but we'll see.
Yeah, right. I mean, every time I see him go up, I'm like, that's for sure out.
Well, hopefully not. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I'm gonna call it Astros in 6 just because I'm afraid if they lose tonight in Philly that they're gonna lose in 7.
Another big one, Calvin Ridley, still on suspension.
Yeah.
To who did they go? To the Jags. He got traded to the Jags
for gambling, right? Is that
for gambling? Yeah. He paid $1,500. That was like the worst gamble ever. $1,500. You bid $1,500 to lose $50 million.
Wow,
that is a bad odds. I would not take that at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, he got caught. Of course. I mean, he just happened to be the one to get caught.
Sure.
He wasn't thinking it through and just got caught. So, but Jaguars picked him up. Hopefully, reinstated him. Now that pick, I think, is like a third or it has some stipulations to it. If he plays this year or gets reinstated in a certain type, then they get a certain draft pick down to Atlanta. But if he doesn't get reinstated by a certain time, then they get that certain.
It was like protected or sliding or something. Yeah,
depending on his reinstatement. So a lot of moves in the NFL. Which
So you're saying they're taking a gamble on them, but just a legal one.
Yeah, no pun intended.
No, definitely pun intended. That's the sports part, because I could go on and on about the Astros. I'm ready for them to wrap that up, because I'm afraid if they don't win in 6, they're not going to win in 7. But we'll see.
We'll see. We got a couple days to figure out. We'll find out by Sunday.
Now, what about the cards part of Cards to Yards here? I know what I'm looking forward to.
What do you mean?
Oh, cards. You want to go over cards for the people?
Oh! I'm so sorry. I'm
New
drawing a
and
blank.
recent
I'm thinking of more
releases? Yeah.
trades. I'm sorry.
No.
There was a lot of trades that happened, so I was like thinking of all the trades that happened.
I know. There's a lot.
Some new releases. Topps Update actually released last week on Friday.
It's on fire, right? I
It
mean,
definitely is. The checklist is great.
From like a national standpoint and like YouTube breaker standpoint, that product's on fire.
Yeah, for the cost and for what you can get out of it, it's been on fire. The checklist is great. It's the first initial box that has, for the Astro fans, has Jeremy Pena's rookie cards in them.
And along with non-SPs of Julio Rodriguez.
Topps didn't forget
Bobby
to put
Witt.
the short prints in here or the variations
Right.
this time around, so there's no silver packs for this. We have the jumbos and we have the regulars. The regulars are, I think they're like $104.99 here in the store. They come with two, I think, one autograph or relic card, and then you have the jumbos that are $194.99 that come with 2 autographs and 1 relic card. Let's see here. What else did we get? We just recently got some NFL Origins.
Okay.
That look
Nice
really,
looking
really
cards.
nice.
Yes.
Nice looking cards. Speaking of a card, and I hope Bill doesn't mind me showing this off. We did a box of Bill's our owner, and he wanted to do a box for himself. He is a collector at heart as well, and he was able to snag him a nice out of 10 on card gold ink Eazy-E Eric Uzukanma, right? Plays for the Dolphins. Bill loves the Dolphins. These cards are really, really nice. There's 7 cards.
What a great signature.
Yeah, really nice. Easy.
Yeah. Really good.
Some other things that we happen to get in. We have Panini Black that came out last week as well. That's another nice little quick sweat we call. 5 cards. 4 out of the 5 are numbered. 2 of them are autographed. 1 of them is a memorabilia, and 1 of them is an RPA, rookie patch auto. What else did we get? We got some Topps Black Chrome, or Topps Chrome Black, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody's familiar with baseball and that set, baseball, you get 1 encased autograph, could possibly be numbered, but it's not guaranteed numbered. And you get a small little pack on the top that has 3 cards. And for everybody that's wondering how those look, these are like your base cards. Oh, this isn't a base card. Well, this is what they look like. This one's actually numbered out of 199. There's different color parallels in them. And then you have, here's your base card. Here's a base. That's a base card right there for Topps Chrome Black. And then you have your guaranteed signature, which I don't feel like grabbing out of here, but it's a guaranteed signature locked away in a one-touch sealed up by Topps.
I saw some Topps Chrome MLS. So
Topps Chrome MLS.
Just in time for the MLS Cup. And then we've been talking about the World Cup coming up, of course.
Yes, we did get some of that. We have hobby boxes in here as well. We did happen to get some AEW wrestling. You mentioned to me that it was one of the hottest sets out there.
Yeah.
We did get a full case of it, so if there's a case that's somewhere in there, it's somewhere in our store because we got a full case of it.
Sweet. That's the Spectrum higher end, but you're guaranteed, autographs. Base are limited. They also have a couple of crazy insert sets. One is called Chair Shots, and it's sort of like the Planet Metal. From Spider-Man Metal, but it's die-cut metal card in the shape of a chair.
That's
and then they
cool.
also have a pretty hilarious one called Table for Two, which has, as far as the memorabilia card goes, it has a match-used piece of table in the middle of 2 rivals. Some are signed. So
that's pretty neat.
Obviously, you got parallels, one-of-ones, like Upper Deck does, but and updated wrestlers like Thunder Rosa, who has not yet have a card. So It's gonna be it's a big set.
See, I'm not big into that. That's why we have you here.
And it's also it's also filling that gap until they get to their flagship Upper Deck, Series 2 basically. Sweet. But it's gonna be a big set because there's gonna be signed stuff by Jericho and
I look forward to you opening up a box here soon.
So maybe
share with us.
Yeah.
Some other releases that we have some. I'm sorry, I got a list here. So much that we have in here. If you guys haven't checked out our store yet, please come up here. Even if you don't buy anything, come up here, check it out. I'm pretty sure I'll help you pick up your jaw once you look around. Definitely a jaw dropper in here. We have some Donruss Optic basketball from 21-22. We're now coming up on the tail end of 21-22. Once you start seeing select product, which we got in last week, that's when you start feeling that, hey, look, now we're about to get into the 22-23 draft. So they're finally catching up. So we have the Donruss Optic 21-22 Asia edition, also known as T-Mall. We have Chronicle Soccer T-Malls for 21-22. We have some Upper Deck for 22-23 MVP hockey. And we also have some Bowman Baseball first edition hobby boxes for 22. That's a nice one. And to follow it up here, we have 21-22 Panini Illusions basketball hobby boxes. All that stuff is very good stuff depending on who you collect and how you collect. So, like I said, come on up here, check us out. Let me know what you're looking for. We might be able to get it for you as well.
Absolutely. And you not only do you have a lot of sealed wax, but you got a lot of packs available too. So
we also have packs. Yeah, we have packs too. And also one thing I forgot to mention for my DC people out there, I'm a big DC guy as well as Marvel, but we also got Chapter 2 in of the Heroes, the NFT cards, which you can be sold physically, or you can log on our app, scan it, and you can sell them as NFTs digitally as well too. We do have plenty of hangers, and if you want to step it up, we have booster boxes here too that come with 24 packs, which I'm getting ready to do one here in a moment after this podcast. So you want to hang out around and watch it? I feel like I deserve one today.
Well, thanks again, Lou, for being on Cars to Yards with me. We want people to come out and bust open some wax, man.
Come on, hang out.
Here at the Adventure Stadium on top of Adventure Begins Comics and Games in Conroe. So go ahead. Glossary, word of the day. Let's go with loose packs. Because people may be like, what does that mean?
Loose packs are pretty much, if you don't want to buy the box, you can buy a pack.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
Right? Take your shot at one.
Yeah. And you guys have great prices and amazing selection. So
you know what? I feel kind of left out, with the whole glossary term. So I'm going to add mine in there today.
Go for it.
All right. We're going to go with RPA. Rookie Patch Auto.
Absolutely.
So, Rookie Patch Auto is exactly what it stands for. It's a rookie. It has a patch that was either game used or game worn, and it's an autograph. Typically, most of these are numbered. They're the most sought out things out of a hobby box that you can look for, and typically some of your biggest hits.
Do you prefer vertical or horizontal? It seems to be
whichever one is lower serialized.
Okay, yeah. Because I've read like people almost do full blown dissertations online about, well, if it's vertical, that's not a true rookie patch. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
I mean, you can have a patch and an auto, and I call it a rookie, and I call it a rookie patch auto. But I guess,
when it came to National Treasures, and I know we're going off limits here, but when it came off of National Treasures, here's a good example. I was able to pull me a Mac Jones RPA out of 99.
Yeah.
And it was the vertical one.
Oh yeah.
And it was more expensive resale value than it was out of 99, by the way, the horizontal one, which was out of 25.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing, but one was horizontal, one was vertical. And mine was a whopping like $10,000 plus, and the other one was a whopping like $3,000 plus. So I'm like, why if that's a low number? Well, it comes to find out is that they, like you said, the one that are vertical are considered true RPAs.
And sometimes in sets like that, the higher serial number is actually the true rookie, and the lower serial the lower serial number would be like a parallel, like a gold or silver, a variation. Yeah. So if you were to look up on like Beckett online, it would have like the RC by one but not the other.
Yep.
So
there you go.
Just like that. But learn something new every day.
That's great. That's what we're here for.
And
pick each other's mind.
Yeah. Hopefully when we come back, the Astros will have learned how to win a World Series.
Yeah.
So
Sounds great.
But we'll see you next time on Cars to Yards.
Well, gang, that's all for today's episode. So join us next week. Cars to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium, and the adventure begins. Again, we're located off 1488 and Woodland Square Boulevard. See you next time.